Well, you're in for a treat. We're at the Lindsay Wildlife Museum in Walnut Creek, and with me right now, of course, is Dawn. Dawn, nice to see you again.
Thanks.
Dawn, we're looking in this training session, I guess this is over here, is that right?
It's a training session that our keeper Jason is doing with our gray fox, and this room is used to allow our animals, our mammals, to run around and get some exercise in the afternoons. And what Jason is doing is, while he's getting exercise out here, he's actually doing a little bit of training with him. And what I mean by that is he's using that whistle that he has in his mouth, and he's actually targeting him to go to certain places in the room. So he'll ask him up onto the scale, and then he'll ask him to go to certain places, maybe where that piece of carpet is, or in different areas of the room. And when he goes there, what he's doing is he's getting a food reward.
Okay, what's the point of training him?
Basically, because of the way that our enclosures are set up here at the museum, we have to be able to move our animals on and off exhibit at a moment's notice, or whenever we feel that the enclosures need to be clean or seen to, or if an animal's sick. So by training the animal to voluntarily go into their kennel, like he's doing right now, that lessens the stress for the animal.
It's amazing that he is trained. I wouldn't think that a wild animal like that could be trained.
It's amazing. This fox in particular, he's been here since '96, so about 10 years.
He's a veteran fox.
He is. So he knows the routine. He trusts us. He knows that we're going to give him food. And a wild animal's main motivation is food. So what Jason does is he uses his favorite foods, which happen to be mice, peanuts, and grapes, to have him move around and to get the behaviors he wants from him, because the fox is going to do it because he knows Jason and he trusts him.
And that looks like almost like a scale over there that he was looking at a few minutes ago. He hopped onto that, and now he's got the tennis ball on the end of his...
Yeah, so what that is, it's a target that he uses, and so what Jason will do is hold that stick with the tennis ball to a certain place that he wants the fox to go to, and he'll give him a food reward, and what the fox is doing, he's making the connection between the ball and the food.
Yeah. Dawn, excuse me interrupting you. I never thought a wild animal, a classic wild animal could be trained that well.
It's amazing. Every animal's different because of this fox's personality. He is taking this training very well. Certain other animals, based on their personalities, their injuries, they don't. And it just depends on the individual animal.
But isn't it true that wild animals are always wild? In other words, a domesticated dog is a dog. It's been domesticated through generations. But an animal like this, which came from the wild and can't go out in the wild for whatever reasons, can be that well trained.
Yes, well, we do tell people he is not domesticated, he is what we call habituated. And what that means is he's used to being around people. He's used to being around them, and he may see them as a food source, completely different from domestication. He will always be a wild animal, but he will be a wild animal that is used to being around people.
Okay, now he was born in quite young.
He was. He actually came in when he was only a few months old. And mammals in the wild, like fox or squirrels or coyotes, if they're not with their parents, even their mother, the first few weeks or months of their life, it's critical that they're going to learn how to, what to stay away from, how to eat, how to find food. And he actually was not with his mom when he was a baby.
It actually is, in fact, is like learning to be a wild animal. Is that it?
Pretty much.
Learning to survive in the wild.
And so if they don't get that as babies, then they have no skills to live in the wild, and they start to see whoever they see first, which happens to be somebody found him and brought him into the hospital. And because he was around people at a very young age, he started seeing us as a food source. And that's dangerous to release an animal like that into the wild, because then they start going up to whoever's near looking for food.
Dawn, always good to see you. Thanks very much for all that information. Dawn Manley's been our guest, and we are at the Lindsay Wildlife Museum in Walnut Creek. If you ever have a chance to visit, you're going to see all kinds of interesting things here. And remember, they don't take wild animals because they want to bring them indoors. They take them because they're injured or need help of some kind. Anyway, thanks for watching.